Mel Brooks is back with his long-awaited sequel to History of the World Part 1. This is in the form of a Hulu series, so let's see if History of the World Part 2 is worth your time. Hey everybody, my name's Justin here. I try to watch everything that hits theaters and on streaming services. If you guys are like me, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and click that bell notification for more up and coming content. History of the World Part 1 was a film directed by Mel Brooks, released in 1981, and had a few different sketches of historical events throughout. And at the end of that film, it teased a part 2. That probably was just a joke for Mel Brooks at the time, but here we are, 2023, getting a sequel to it. This is in the form of an 8-episode series that does have the same kind of format as History of the World Part 1, where we have a lot of different historical events with a lot of big celebrities. This has a stacked cast including Nick Kroll, Ike Barinholtz, Seth Rogen, Sarah Silverman, Jillian Bell, Taika Waititi, Jake Johnson, Johnny Knoxville, Danny DeVito, Zazie Beetz, and more. And throughout these 8 episodes, we have different historical events that cover such events as General Grant and Judas betraying Jesus, Alexander Graham Bell making the first call, the Berlin Wall coming down, Amelia Earhart, Galileo, and so much more is covered. There is a few continuing storylines throughout, and it's really headlined by Nick Kroll and Ike Barinholtz, who are also involved in writing this show as well. So when we have a lot of the continuing storylines, it's either involving Ike Barinholtz, Wanda Sykes, or Nick Kroll. And other cast members are just appearances in there, like Seth Rogen or Dove Cameron or Danny DeVito or Jack Black. One episode may have like 5 minutes of a segment, and then it's continued in episode 2 or episode 3. So you really have to pay attention to some of these segments as they do continue throughout these episodes. And at times, the continuing storylines I'm forgetting about because either they have a lot of different continued storylines or just very small segments that I'm easily forgetting about some of the continuing storylines within this series. But in about middle half of the series, I started to really get invested in some of these storylines surrounding Jesus or General Grant, who's played by Ike Barinholtz, who really wants a drink, but Abraham Lincoln tells him that he cannot drink alcohol. So as we get more into the series, it's clear what is the main focus of the storylines, and there's a good handful of them, and I think a lot of them are pretty funny. But when you come across some of these ones that are like a minute or 2 minutes long, it's fun briefly, but you can tell easily that they didn't have enough potential to be a developing storyline. The cast in here is really good. If they have just a brief appearance or a continuing storyline throughout, you can tell that everybody just has an absolute blast in this series. The overall vibe and feel to it is very easygoing, and I really enjoyed that because you could tell that not only were they having fun with this series, you could also tell that it was honoring and paying tribute to Mel Brooks and that style that he created in History of the World Part 1. And I recently just watched that film. It's hilarious, and you can get that sense that this is the same kind of structure. It's almost like History of the World Part 1 mixed with the Nick Kroll show. A lot of Nick Kroll's style of humor plays a big part in this series, but also that social commentary and looking at the historical events and poking fun at them, which Mel Brooks has done so well in the past in his films. That also plays a big part within here. Much like other sketch comedy shows, some are really hilarious and I laughed quite often, and then some are just boring or just did not provide any laughs. There was a huge surprise in one of the episodes. I don't want to spoil it, but it involved Johnny Knoxville, and I had the hugest smile on my face. If you know my channel, I love Johnny Knoxville, I love Jackass. So seeing a couple of those clips, I absolutely loved it. But it was so cool to see all these different cast members come together who you normally wouldn't see in movies or shows together. Cool to see these different actors and actresses work together. All the actors and actresses that I mentioned, that's just barely the ones that are in here. There is so much more. Every single segment has somebody you know. I was impressed with how many people they were able to get in here. I thought History of the World Part 2 was absolutely hilarious. I love the different modern takes on historical events, incorporating TikTok or social media or new technology into it. It's appropriate to wait so long so you could have so much more you can do with it. When you had History of the World Part 1, it had classic historical events, and they incorporated technology and modern events around that time into that film, similar to how they're doing it now. It's cool to see Galileo doing cameos and different historical events and how they incorporate new technology, social media, big events that happened throughout the years, and how they are poking fun at it all, also having this commentary and feel like they have something to say within it. I thought this was a fun series. I am a huge Mel Brooks fan. His style and his involvement is clear within this series, but also everybody else who's involved with producing and writing the show. From Wanda Sykes to Ike Barinholtz to Nick Kroll, it's clear that they're trying to have a modern take on it and have their own approach to it as well. And then also Mel Brooks narrating the series. It was so cool to hear his voice and the opening for this. Which was the conclusion to the Part 1 film when he was teasing the second film. It was so cool to see him narrating it because Orson Welles narrated the first one. It's clear his love and his dedication to this series and his films as well. So if you enjoy Mel Brooks films, or if you've seen History of the World Part 1, definitely check out this series. 2 episodes a night, total of 8 episodes. It's a lot of fun. A lot of big actors and actresses. I was surprised with who they got in here. There are going to be some moments that are going to shock you. There are some moments that I don't want to spoil for anybody, but overall, it's a really good time. So before I give you my score for History of the World Part 2 on Hulu, make sure to check out my channel. Here I do movie reviews, trailer actions, ranking videos, tier lists, all that fun movie related content that you see on YouTube. I do it all here, so hit that subscribe button and get it all in one spot. I'm going to go ahead and give History of the World Part 2 a B+. Thank you guys for checking my review for History of the World Part 2 on Hulu. Have you guys seen it by chance? What do you think about it? Let me know in the comment section down below, and stay tuned for more up and coming content like this. My name is Just Watches Movies, and you guys stay classy, YouTube.